Thank you for coming this afternoon, y'all. Just a reminder, make sure your phones are on vibrate. I know we use phones as newscasting devices now, so just make sure they're on silent and we'll get going.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are constantly working with the National Weather Service to stay updated on weather situations, to provide recap rainfall total exceeding 12 inches in portions of Fort Bend County. The majority of that which fell last 12 hours, not last 12 hours, it's actually in the first day, which is Tuesday, midnight, and yesterday, May 7th, actually. The lower Brazos watershed has generally seen 1 to 2 inches over the last 48 hours, much of which occurred in the last 12 hours. We are expecting periods of heavy rain later this afternoon and evening throughout Saturday, until Saturday. The timing ranges from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. with the potential of storms beginning around 7 p.m. They have also predicted widespread 4 to 8 inches of rain with isolated pockets with 9 to 12 inches depending on where the bands of storm set up. There is potential for 2 to 4 inches per hour rainfall rates. There is also slight risk of damaging winds, large hail, isolated tornadoes with storms that begin this afternoon and evening. Please remember that soil is already saturated and that creates a favorable condition for flooding. Additionally, American Red Cross has temporarily closed the shelter at Creekside Christian Fellowship Church, but will continue to monitor the situation and reopen the shelter as needed. The Fort Bend County Emergency Operations Center is activated readiness level 2, which is an increased readiness level. The county continue to monitor the weather and status of Brazos River. Fort Bend County is also conducting helicopter and drone missions to analyze the situation with bird eye view. I want to let the public know that they need to focus, they should stay safe during the rain and being prepared for weather that comes, whatever bring our way. Everyone should take a second to text FBC alert to 888777. To get emergency alerts, please continue to monitor FBC OEM social website, which is also our Twitter handle is FBC OEM. And I just wanted to tell the citizens, we are doing everything possible to make our citizens' life better, and I just want our citizens to stay safe and follow the instructions coming from the authorities. With that, I conclude our basic update on it, and then next what I would like to do is to bring our Emergency Management Coordinator, Mark Flathouse, to brief on some of the preparedness items. Mark?
Just to reiterate some of the things the county judge said, my name is Mark Flathouse, Emergency Management Coordinator. Over the last 48 hours, we have been activated the Emergency Operations Center to make sure that we are in a readiness level for our jurisdictions within Fort Bend County. The jurisdictions we've been communicating with throughout the last 48 hours with the flash floods that impacted a lot of the citizens of Fort Bend County, we've been here working with them with the initial response that took place the initial night, and we had multiple houses that had water in it, impassable roads, and we worked together as the Emergency Operations Center and in communications to make sure that the initial hit of the storm was taken care of. We are continuously talking to them in a minimum of 2 times a day, along with the National Weather Service, and the amount of water that fell during that time, everything from 8 to 12 inches throughout the county, impacted the citizens drastically. The communities that are within Fort Bend County have worked very hard to come together and making sure of that. Over the next 48 hours, we are making sure that we are prepared for the same situation in case the weather does say what it is going to do. With that being said, the communications will maintain with the jurisdictions, and we will also make sure that we have resources available, and we're getting assistance with the Texas Forestry Service along with the state of Texas and Department of Emergency Management to make sure that we have resources in the area in case we do have anything over the next 48 hours. As the county judge stated, the ground is already saturated, so we're kind of concerned along those lines. But working with that, we'll give an update and a report with the river is the second tier of what we're kind of concerned at the Emergency Operations Center. We want to make sure that the levels of the amount of rain that falls, everything from the Brazos watershed all the way down to through our county and Brazoria County, we want to make sure that we're here in case the flooding increases. Right now we're at moderate levels on multiple ways, and we have our drainage department that will speak about that. But we have our key people here, along with the jurisdictions in Fort Bend County, to make sure the communication is being distributed out to the citizens of Fort Bend County. The one message I have to say is if the storms are predicted this evening, along with the next 48 hours, please make sure the citizens of Fort Bend County, along with the regional around here, to make sure that to stay off the roads, be careful of flash flooding. It can happen in a matter of minutes as far as the cars on the road, and we need to make sure that we're prepared for the amount of water and limit the rescues that need to be there and stay home along those lines. I urge everybody to stay in touch with our social media, along with our website, Fort Bend County, Office of Emergency Management, and make sure that the information that is released out of there is directly from the National Weather Service or from our departments or jurisdictions. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our Drainage Department for an up-to-date on the Brazos River.
Jeff?
Thank you, Mark. My name is Jeff Janacek. I work for the Fort Bend County Drainage District. As the judge covered very well the rainfall and such. After Tuesday's heavy rainfalls, we were very fortunate that we only saw about 1/4 of an inch of rainfall here in Fort Bend County through the day yesterday. The current National Weather Service 3-day rainfall forecast shows an additional 5 to 7 inches in isolated areas. We could see as much as 10 to 12 inches. And we anticipate that first round of rainfall beginning later tonight. The Brazos River at Richmond is currently in minor flood stage. It's at 47.37 feet, and we currently show there's only going to be about another foot or so of rise in the next 5 days or so. But it's important to note that that flood forecast only includes 24 hours of anticipated additional rainfall. We know we've got much more than that coming. In addition, the Brazos River at Rosharon at the lower end of the county is currently in moderate flood stage at 50.77 feet. Again, the current flood forecast shows very little additional rise, but we're going to have to very closely monitor the rainfall that we get and where it occurs in the days to come. On our western boundary, the San Bernard River, it's currently in moderate flood stage, and we'll be watching that watershed closely as well. As Mark said, we've been activated since Tuesday afternoon, monitoring rainfall and river levels. We'll continue to coordinate the response to the flood event with our local jurisdictions. I'll now bring up Anna Gonzalez from Social Services.
Good afternoon. I'm Anna Gonzalez. I'm the Director of Fort Bend County Social Services. Currently, there are several nonprofit organizations throughout the county who are ready and willing to assist those of you who may have already flooded in the last couple of days. And so you can look on the OEM website for that information. In addition, you can also look at Fort Bend Recovers website so that you can get more information about additional nonprofit organizations throughout the county. I understand that we have received a couple of phone calls and emails already of residents who have homes have been flooded and are needing furniture replacement and appliance replacements. Again, you can contact Fort Bend Recovers to provide you with additional information. The other thing that I'd like to cover is the issue of trauma. For the last 3 years, we've had several storms that have hit, and so I'm sure there's many children and adults who are suffering from the trauma that has taken place in those last 3 years. So it's really important that as you speak to your children, that you let them know that it's okay. The feelings that they have, it's okay. Please be patient with them. Try to speak to them and allow them to talk about their feelings and how they're feeling. Keep them on a regular routine as much as you possibly can. The more that they see that you are okay and that you're calm, the more they will react to the way you behave. So that's really important. So now I'm going to translate in Spanish what I just said in English. So yo me llamo Ana González, soy la directora de Servicios Sociales del Condado de Fort Bend. Por ahorita hay varios lugares donde organizaciones de servicios sociales que les pueden ayudar. Si necesita comida o agua o cualquier cosa, le pueden hablar a esos lugares. Sí los vamos a tener la información en las páginas de Facebook y también la página de OEM, donde pueden seguir más información de los diferentes organizaciones que les puede ayudar con varias cosas. Si les han inundado sus casas y necesitan ayuda con cosas de la casa, entonces ellos también les puede ayudar. También busquen un website que se llama Fort Bend Recovers y ahí también les puede ayudar. Entendemos también que hay muchos niños que han sufrido del trauma antes de varias inundaciones que hemos tenido. Es muy importante que ustedes tengan paciencia con los niños. Si comienzan a llorar o comenzar a decir que tengo miedo, todo eso es normal porque han sufrido una trauma años pasados. Es muy importante que usted tomen mucha paciencia con ellos, que hablen con ellos y que déjenlos que llore, pero también déjenlos que ellos les digan cómo se sienten, ¿ok? No les juzgamos, no andemos regañándolos porque todo eso no está bien. Es muy importante que sí tomamos el tiempo para hablar con ellos, pero también que ustedes se pongan de paciencia con ellos. Es muy importante que sí se fijen en sus hijos y que los cuiden. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. I just wanted to thank every one of you being here, and I know that it's hard. I hope you all stay safe, and I appreciate you all are coming. And also, I appreciate the fact that you're sending this information to our citizens, and that's going to help our citizens. Their life is going to be better because you do what you do, and I appreciate your being here. And with that, we will open up for any questions you might have.
How many rivers did you mention were being monitored? You mentioned Brazos. Is that 2 locations on the same Brazos River that you mentioned? Can you?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, we're monitoring multiple locations on the Brazos River all the way up to really Waco, but specifically in Fort Bend County, Richmond and Rocheron are 2 points where we have river forecasts that we get. In addition to that, on our western boundary is the San Bernard River. Those are the 2 major river systems that have forecasts, but we have lots of watersheds that we're watching closely.
But you mentioned that, I just want to make sure that we get this clear.
Sure.
That the Brazos is from 1 feet of
The Brazos at Richmond is currently at a stage of 47 feet, and the current flood forecast shows an additional 1 foot of rise over the next 3 days. But that flood forecast only includes 24 hours of precipitation in it. So we're watching closely for the rainfall that falls tonight and in the days to come.
And then it's another location, didn't you mention there was like a moderate and a minor at the same?
Yes.
So is it minor at a minor flood stage in Richmond
In a moderate at Rocheron.
and a moderate level? And how many feet was it in Rocheron?
50.77.
When it comes to specifics as to the number of homes that possibly have been flooded, do you have a specific number as to how many homes have been affected or how many people have been pushed out of their homes?
Mark, you have a number on that. Please go ahead. By the way, this is Mark Grant, Road and Bridges Director.
Yes. Currently, in the unincorporated areas, we have a count at this time of 150 homes that have been flooded from a few inches to a few feet. So currently, we are getting prepared to do a debris cleanup. We want to wait and see what this next level of rain is going to do, because we may possibly have more homes that get flooded. We're hoping not, but there'll be more updates about when we're going to start debris pickup and cleanup later on in another newscast or another broadcast.
These 150 homes were in one location in particular?
No, sir. They were all over a southern portion of 59 primarily. I'm speaking only of the unincorporated areas of Fort Bend County. I'm not speaking for the city of Sugar Land. I'm not speaking for any other entities other than the unincorporated areas that we maintain.
Does the county plan any evacuations knowing that flooding has occurred and it can occur again, instead of putting first responders at risk? going out there? Do
Mark,
you
you
guys plan
wanted
any
to
kind of
answer that question?
evacuations, mandatory or suggested?
Currently, right now, we're working with those jurisdictions along with the unincorporated areas, utilizing some helicopter flights and other things, looking at the water. In predictions, we have working with some of the subdivisions that we have known in the past to not be able to hold some of the amounts of water, and we're communicating with them and be a careful eye so that if an evacuation needs to be done, we will make sure that we have everything in order and in time. The flash flood issue is very hard to plan for and to be done, to especially tell family members, especially since over the last 24 hours we expected some rain last night. It just didn't happen, and that's thankful. But with that being said, as far as if we do get the amount of water and as it's progressing, we'll work with the jurisdiction's first responders to make sure that no one's in harm's way. But we have the key spots, and we're working on that today, so in preparation.
What's the message that's sent to those residents that were impacted on Tuesday night, as well as those that have not seen flooding to this degree that they've seen in the last 48 hours, knowing that this storm is coming up?
Yeah, the message is very simple. We are here, and we are actually already at level 2 activation. So we are watching it very closely, and of course we are here to help. But at the same time, like I said before, every step of the way, I encourage our citizens to watch social media. We are very actively, on a regular basis, we are posting what is going on, and also going to fbcoem.org, our website, and also, like I said, FBC Alert, 888-777. You could sign up for text updates. And so we encourage every citizen to sign up and stay alert and stay on top of what is going on, keep monitoring what is going on. And I don't want our citizens to get panic, but be cautious. That's the message we have.
You say we're here, we're ready, you don't want people to be panicked, but for those people that saw flood waters that come up on Tuesday night in a way they've never seen before, they're concerned.
They are concerned. We are aware of that. And so obviously, like Mark Grant just mentioned, we are actually concerned about it. Some cases, like I mentioned, one of our shelters has been closed because there is no need at the moment. People went back for various places. And so we are here, and that's why I said we are going to monitor the situation. If we need it, we will open more shelters, or even the shelter we closed, we will open it. But bottom line is watch what is going on, and we will be out there helping people.
There were some areas, and I know this is outside of, this is not the city of Sugar Land, but there were some areas in the city of Sugar Land that flooded that had never flooded, did not even flood during Harvey. Do you know the reason for that? Some people were thinking maybe it's because there's more development in the area.
It was around anywhere from 9 to 12 inches of rain came down around 8 to 12 hour period. And that was absolutely too much water to handle. And that happened even in Needville. And some areas, these houses were not flooded during Hurricane Harvey. That's why we want our citizens to be cautious. You know, our land is so inundated with water, so be cautious because you don't know how much water coming down. We are hoping for the best because, like Mark Flathouse just mentioned, because he said, last night we were expecting a storm, but didn't come this way. Thank God for that. And so we are hoping things will work out in our favor, but be cautious. That's the message we have for our citizens.
And just to reiterate, on the debris removal, you're going to kind of reassess that after this series passes through, right?
Right, and also I want, like Mr. Flathouse just mentioned, we are actually doing drone and helicopter assessment, and constantly. So we are watching what is going on, even the water level and things of that nature. So we are trying to stay on top of all this situation.
What area is that being done primarily on today? What was the priority to have the drones and the helicopter flights?
It's all over Fort Bend County, and especially on the banks of anywhere there was a flood can happen, which is mostly in the banks of Brazos River.
Is there anything
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, is there anything that you learned in Harvey that you're sort of applying to this round of storms?
So Mark, you wanted to answer that question? Oh, sorry.
So we're taking a lot of the information in Harvey. One of the things that kind of addressed earlier was this was a flash flood event. This was not Harvey. Harvey was a 4 days event that did mass amount of water, filled the retention, and backed up. What we learned is, number one, we learned how to work with sheltering. We learned how to work with the residents and get the message out. We got it out. We were actively involved. We actually semi-activated and during the flash flood, we had multiple people in the county already en route to the EOC to make sure that we're there for the jurisdictions to get the resources that they need. So what we're doing is we're more highly alert and aware of the storms that come into the area. And we're also, prior to that, we are always watching, and we get daily updates on the rivers, which our rivers are already swollen. And one of the things that we're learning every day as we move along with this amount of water is that the river since Harvey has changed a little bit. And we're making sure, and we're working with great people in our county, and we're working with the National Weather Service and the hydrologists to make sure that the numbers match and we can predict to make sure that we're there for the citizens. So if we learned anything from Harvey for this flash flood, is that we're watching all the areas that can be impacted and affected with a river that's expanding and slowly expanding. And we're making sure that we have all of our systems in place at the Emergency Operations Center, and then that the jurisdictions have the resources to make sure everything gets done. We had a flash flood event. We got 2 shelters. City of Sugar Land has their own Emergency Operations Center, but they got a shelter up. We've got a shelter up in the damaged area for the 150 homes. And we got it done in a timely manner where Harvey was a little bit more difficult. So I think we've got systems in place, and working with the county judge's office and everything moving forward, we're getting things done a lot quicker, which I think is a benefit. But I think we did a good job during Harvey. We're just using the data from that and the amount of work that we did during that to make it better for this. And we're going to move on with the information from this event and make the next one even better.
As the rivers are swollen, we also know that some of the other waterways are very swollen. What concerns officials more, the rivers or creeks and exit pathways for the water that are completely swollen as well?
Well, I think we look at it all. And that's what we're taking so much time of activating our EOC and getting key people in place from the county's perspective, and getting the history of what I kind of talked about a second ago. Understanding the history of where we were during Harvey and all the creeks and swollen. But what we saw 2 nights ago, and the city of Sugar Land was impacted along with the other jurisdictions of Fort Bend County, and what was impacted was not normal. And we had subdivisions that were impacted that during Harvey they were not. So we're using this information along with working with not only the levee improvement districts, the mud districts, our drainage districts, and all those creeks and stuff, getting out there and making sure we have documented history of this during these events can make us prepare for the future.
And for people who live in the area, we know that when you see the Brazos rise, a lot of it has to do because of storms that took place in the center of the state to the north. You indicated you're watching Waco. Do you have any idea as to when the river's going to crest, or what you guys are anticipating?
Jeff, you want to answer?
So right now the flood wave that you see on the Brazos River actually came from rainfall that occurred a week ago upstream. The watershed is much larger upstream. We know that Hempstead, which is about 90 river miles upstream of here, it's already crested. It was 45 feet on Wednesday and it's gone down 2.5 feet. So really the crest is currently in Fort Bend County, and we're waiting to see what this rainfall here brings us as well.
Do you have any information for the school districts that you can give? The question on Facebook Live.
Okay, and when it comes to school districts, as you know, they are of their own jurisdiction. They make their decision based on the information available, and obviously we are working with school districts, and they are also updated about what is happening. And so, and I again come back to encourage our citizens to stay alert and watch the website for the school districts and also their social media, so that they can learn about the school closing in case if it needed tomorrow.
And you mentioned previous floods, you mentioned the data that you've used from Harvey and all that stuff, but is anything actively being done, moving dirt, anything like that to control flooding in any specific way?
You wanted to answer that?
After Harvey, the primary area that we had was in the Cinco Ranch area. And the Cinco Ranch area drains into the Barker Cypress. Barker Cypress we have gone through and desilted all of the ditches going into the reservoir, and that was a primary issue for us because that the silting in of all the ditches would not carry the maximum amount out to the Barker. The Barker obviously was full at the time, and that's what backed up into Cinco Ranch, into the areas that flooded. It didn't help that we got 40-plus inches of rain over 4 days. But that being said, we have been proactive as far as going out, doing the desilting, and we have spent many dollars on engineers finding out the best avenues for us to be able to combat this flooding in Fort Bend County. So we are taking avenues and spending dollars out there to come up with the best plan countywide for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. And maybe we will take one or two more questions, and then we will wind down. Any other questions? And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for coming. And people look before they go to Fort Bend OEM website. They go and watch TV. And thank you for being here, and thank you for your service. And once again, thank you for coming. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming.